Hey everyone, how's it going? My name is Richard Moglen. Welcome back to this week's weekly Watchlist video, sponsored by MarketSmith. And let's dive right in and start with ABNB, and overall not the greatest growth fundamentals here or estimates, but what really catches my eye here is the number of funds invested and all these high quality funds in there as well. And overall, I'm looking for a breakout through this prior high on Friday or this point right here, right near 200, with a stop near the 50 SMA. Next up, we've got AMAT, and overall you can see decent growth fundamentals here. Last quarter earnings up 42%, sales up 24%, margin strong as well. Very good estimates for 2021, up at 44%. Estimate revisions up as well. The overall composite rating is as strong as you get, 99. Nice growth in fund ownership and 2 high quality funds in there as well. And overall, I'm looking for a 2-2, the strat reversal through this high with a stop at this low or potentially the 21 EMA. I like how this has been acting during the kind of growth turbulence that we've been experiencing. And overall, I like how it's consolidating below 120. So that is AMAT. Next up, we've got apps. And for me, the biggest drawback with this stock is how far it's already come. It's already basically 10x'd in under a year. However, it is setting up again on low volume here in this most recent tightness above the 21 EMA. So what I'm looking for is a breakout through these highs on above average volume. And you've got a bunch of pivots here on this left-hand side as well. This is not a proper base at all. I hate this action up and down here, straight off the bottom from the 50 SMA. But overall, it is tightening up. Nice upside reversal action on this Wednesday as well. And the fundamentals really speak for itself. Great earnings, sales, and margins growth. Very strong estimates for 2021 and 2022. Nice growth in fund ownership and 1 high quality fund in there as well. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see if this can continue to perform. The group in general is not nearly as strong as it was in 2020, but we'll see what happens next week. Moving on, we've got Bumble, which I did trade last week, buying on this reversal, selling for a small gain here on this last Thursday. But overall, it is still within its IPO base. And you've got nice kind of sales growth accelerating the past 4 quarters. Great estimates for 2022, up over 999%, although the estimate revisions are down, which isn't a good sign. And you can see the IBD ratings are pretty poor, except for the Group RS rating. And overall, there's no information on fund ownership just yet, but I'm looking for a 2-2 reversal once again through this high. And once again, you have a couple kind of pivots here, right here as well, and this one right here are the kind of most significant points of resistance before the kind of standard IPO base breakout. So that is Bumble. And next up, we've got LDI, another recent IPO. Fantastic earnings, sales, and margins growth. Great estimates for 2021. The composite rating is only 32, so that's very poor. And there's no fund ownership info just yet. And as for the chart, what I'm looking for is a breakout through this high, so a breakout of the inside day, and this is also a significant point of resistance right here. And I definitely want to get involved if this works on volume through these pivots. And otherwise, you've got some other points of resistance here, and also the standard kind of pivot here at right below 40. So that is LDI. And next up, we've got MP, which was on my focus list this past week, but they did just report earnings on this past Friday. And overall, they were very strong. Earnings up 260%, sales up 100%, and after-tax margins up 51.9%. Great estimates for 2021 now, with revisions up as well. Very strong estimates for 2022 as well, of 54%, although revisions are down for that year. And overall, the composite rating is a very strong 95. Great growth in fund ownership, and no high-quality funds in there just yet, but the chart is pretty strong, especially given a lot of the volatility here. It has kind of stayed above this pivot and made a really nice move on this Friday and finished just below this pivot right here. So what I'm looking for is a move through this line on above average volume, and that point is at 46.33. And I want to keep my stop loss pretty close because it is kind of a little bit short-term extended. Most likely the better entry here was through last kind of Thursday's high on this past Friday. But overall, it's still a pretty good setup and definitely a very strong stock, which is very early within its growth life cycle. So that is MP. And next up, we've got SAM, a more mature stock and company. But overall, you can see great growth in earnings to sales the past few quarters. Last quarter earnings up 142%, still up 53%, and after-tax margins up as well. Great estimates for 2021, 2022, overall composite rating of a 94, a nice growth in fund ownership, and a whole bunch of high-quality funds in there as well. And I love how it's been trading and kind of always returning to this pivot area, which is at 1092.8. And you can see this Friday, it just retook that pivot once again. And I'm looking for a move through this point right here, and that is at 1091.72 on above average volume, and eventually challenging this high as well, and then this one ideally. So that is Sam. This kind of fits in the theme of reopening plays, as people might return to bars once they get their vaccines and can do that safely. And definitely the numbers are very, very strong, especially the estimates for 2021 and 2022. Moving on, we've got SI, which is a crypto play, and it's been very volatile here, even though it does look relatively tight on this chart. These are 20% ranges, so it's very, very hard to manage risk in this very low float stock, so keep that in mind. But overall, it's shaping up well within this kind of base here, and I'm looking for a move through this area on above average volume, using potentially Friday's high as a pivot as well. But I'm definitely keeping my position pretty small and buying on strength. And this does have a kind of history of huge reversals intraday, so keep that in mind. This stock is not for everybody. But you've got very strong earnings and sales the past quarter, great estimates for 2021 and 2022, composite rating of a 99, great fund ownership, and 2 high quality funds in there as well. This is definitely, in my view, kind of the true market leader in those kind of crypto related stocks, Mara, Riot, Mogo as well, I believe. So keep that in mind, but definitely this is a very strong stock. Potentially it forms a little bit of a handle here. I would love to see that. We'll see if that occurs. If it just goes sideways above 150, that would be kind of ideal, but we'll see what happens next week. Moving on, we've got TDC, which fits within the kind of data storage group, which has been very, very strong, along with Box and Dropbox. But overall, nice growth in earnings this past quarter, but not really any growth in sales. Very strong estimates for 2021 and 2022, up about 20% each, with the revisions up as well. Composite rating is only an 81, so not the greatest there. And fund ownership has actually decreased over the past 2 years. But you can see these monster kind of volume bars here, blue skyscrapers recently, and then it's pulled back to the 21 EMA, moved up, and now pulled back to there once again. So I'm looking for is a breakout above Thursday's high on above average volume, using the 21 EMA or this low as your stop. So that is TDC, and next up we've got Uber. Definitely a kind of shakier chart here, up and down, pretty volatile, and we actually had a gap down on this past Wednesday, but I like the action on Friday, and this gap down wasn't on too high volume, so we'll see if this can shape up and basically set this up as a pivot. Overall, not the greatest growth numbers, but once again, this kind of fits into the reopening plays, and you can see the estimates for 2021 are still at a loss, but it's much better than in 2020 and 2019, and the same thing for 2022. So there is kind of improvement in the overall earnings, even though it isn't positive just yet. And overall, the composite rating is pretty poor at 55, but you've got nice growth in fund ownership and 3 high quality funds in there as well. And we'll see if it can break through this level and approach 60 once again. Last on the list, we've got SLQT, and overall you can see great growth in earnings, sales, and margins the past few quarters. Great estimates for 2021 and 2022 as well. The composite rating is only 72, which is not great, and you've got already kind of 200 funds invested into this recent IPO, and Fidelity Contra Fund just starting a position. And overall, if we go to a weekly, I like how it's acting right near this kind of IPO high, so it's in the turbulent zone here, but it has retaken that level this past week. And overall, I'm looking for a move through this high at about 30 on above average volume. The volume on Friday was very high, but that's kind of to be expected because of all the kind of options expiring and the end of year, end of quarter movement. So keep that in mind. This volume isn't necessarily institutions piling to the stock. And I don't like how it's kind of straight off the 50 SMA. I would like to see it really consolidate for a whole nother week before moving up through 30. But we'll see what happens next week, and hopefully it does kind of hold up and form out this for just a few more days. So that's pretty much it for this video, and that's my plan for my focus list. If you did enjoy this, please go ahead and leave a like down below and subscribe if you're new to the channel. And also let me know down below in the comment section, what are 3 stocks that you are watching for this upcoming trading week? There's definitely a whole bunch more setups in the growth space that I saw this week versus maybe the last one or the week before that. So let me know your favorite ideas, and I'll see you guys in future videos.